the PS3, 360, Wii, and PlayStation 2, and I was like, "What? The fuck?
Insane!
Why would you do that?"
Yeah,
I don't. EA they released shit like
EA will do that.
Region specific too. Like I remember they released a soccer game only in Mexico and shit. I was like, what the
I think the last PS2 game released was like in 2011 or something, or 2012. I forget. It was ridiculously late.
So 20 was fucking 11. God, I would never forget.
It was like, are you kidding me? The PS3 was almost done, and they're still releasing games
for some reason Sony consoles tend to have a huge life.
Well, they know how to scrape and claw like every region, and they just
because think about it. Like even 2017, the PS3 has been done since 2013, right? That's when the PlayStation 4 and Persona 5 came out on the PS3 in 2017, and we're like, what? Why?
People acting like this
100 million install base.
Well, the PS3, I mean, honestly, is the only
85
is basically the biggest. Well, it ended up doing well, but Sony has their track record's 100 million plus.
Yeah, even there's like quote unquote console that didn't do well, at least in the beginning, like the PS3. That shit still ended up with 85 million. You think
still higher than most
you
Nintendo?
Look at Nintendo,
consoles.
and it's just like 13.7 million. What the hell?
We don't talk about those days, T.
They only had, I think the Wii's the only one that broke 100.
Yeah, the Wii's the anomaly.
Other than the handhelds.
That's always been kind of the running joke that the Wii is like the anomaly. That's why no one kind of trusts it.
And the handhelds don't get to 100 million either, except
just the DS. I don't think. Well, maybe the
Game Boy did, but it's like you got to add in all the 20,000 iterations to get to 100. But
it's just for those that are wondering why we were talking about this. Now that we've been live, we're still waiting on Retro and Robert.
Cool, nobody. I know we live.
But I'm just looking at the weekly sales numbers, and the PS4 is still on top, and we're talking 5 years, 4 months, still $300. It's only been $100 price drop in 5+ years, and the thing is still outselling all the others. It's just
that's unprecedented.
It's crazy. I mean, the Xbox One did 76,000, and that's about what you'd expect a console after 5 years plus. And it's like, if I was Sony, I wouldn't even think about releasing a PS5 until late 2020, late 2020 or 21. Like
maybe they won't. They went they went AWOL.
But I think Xbox has to put out a new system sooner than later. So
which is weird because they just dropped one a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I'd be all for Sony keeping the PS4 in the market for years to come. Like I said, I still see no need.
But here's the thing: we were just talking about this. It's not like the PS5 is going to stop the PS4 from selling because the PS2 kept on selling once the PS3 came out. So
it's true.
I don't even talk about sales wise. I'm talking software wise.
You're talking.
I was gonna say because
they just started hitting their stride like a year and a half ago.
Did the PlayStation 1 actually end when the PlayStation 2 came out? Otherwise, it seems like every other generation. It seems like every generation of their console doesn't die. Even the Vita didn't die.
PS1, they kept selling sports games. Sports games continue to sell. Or they were
still supporting the Vita, and they stopped production on that. People still putting out games on the Vita.
Yeah.
Well, like Spider-Man and God of War, they're the biggest other games, aren't they? At the moment.
Yeah, it came out last year.
They're all within. Yeah, last year. Right now they're just on fire. So it's just why put some water on those flames? It's unless like
Sony,
I said, Sony, the PS5.
But that's always kind of been Sony's philosophy. It's kind of like the same way they treat their IPs. They kind of do a big chunk of something, then they cut it off and go to something new. That's kind of how their style is, unfortunately.
I mean, you can look at the games I got left. I feel that's pretty much the end of Sony's full AAA games coming to the PS4. Like
that's because it feels like they've given up. It's not like they need to. It just feels like they have.
Yeah, but if it was me, just going off these sales and stuff, that would be the games we know that are left: Days Gone and Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2. That'd be my 2019, and I would have had maybe an Uncharted, or I don't think the next God of War or anything could be out that soon. Maybe Horizon Zero Dawn sequel for 2020, and then I wouldn't even announce the new system till 2021 early, and then release it later that year. Like, they could ride this thing out. There's no reason. They're probably making tons of money, and I know they already have to have the PS5 development, going. You have to.
Well, I said the same thing about the PS3, because think about it. The last year of the PS3, we got what? Last of Us, right? That came out in 2013 or 2012.
Yeah, but that was a different situation. Even though it did come back sales-wise,
Sony came back significantly.
They had to lose. Sony had to lose a lot of money and to make that happen, and they weren't. Even though that was, the sales numbers look like it was there with Xbox, it was still the 360 version of all the multiplats were outselling, handily outselling the PS3 version, and the hard development process. They had, even though it was just starting to pick up steam, they kind of, I feel like they had to.
I just felt like it kind of came off a little suddenly, because it was like, you finally got your shit together, boom, next console. And I'm like, but you have all this momentum, and
what were they going to do? They couldn't leave Microsoft out there on their own.
Well, in retrospect, they probably could have, considering what they had to do.
Honestly, it was the Wii U, I think, scared them into releasing.
Oh, you can tell that. You can see influence of that in the controller, yeah.
Because they would have both loved to have gone on to like 2014 or something like that, because they didn't make no damn money. Like the hardware costs and the hardware failures on Microsoft's side. And then, Sony
that and I think Xbox kind of gave up towards the end of the 360. That's why you notice they lost all their exclusive deals. And
I think that Phil Spencer, or was Phil Spencer in before?
No, he wasn't in.
No, he wasn't in until what? 20.
I thought he came in right before the one came out, didn't he?
No. It was after.
Okay.
You remember the PS3?
Wasn't it Don? Was it Don Matrick?
Don Matrick.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
Don Matrick, because he was the one who made that quote about if you don't want to play online, then get a 360.
Yeah, yep. So
and he was fired.
That worked out well, then.
I think once I don't know if Sony just started paying for the exclusive content and of the Call of Duties and the ad stuff. Maybe that was their plan. But it started right away.
Money adding became pretty popular
especially in the beginning of the 7th generation.
But it was Phil Spencer who came out and just said, "Yeah, we're not paying for that stuff anymore." And people applauded. I applauded it. And
but they applauded in many things. They didn't make any money. They started.
But
it's so funny because that was the Sony fanboy thing. It was like, oh, you guys are paying for all these exclusives. We hate you. Oh, and then your company turns around and does it. Oh, we got all the games. We get all the exclusives.
We're at 1080p. You're at 900. Who cares?
You can't win with in fanboy arguments because they will not concede anything. So that's just pointless.
The thing is, even right now as well, there's a lot of third parties who are actually starting to see success now. I mean, look at games like Resident Evil 2 and Devil May Cry and Sekiro and and all these games. People seem to be loving them. Just soaking them up. So I don't know, man. I can't. Yeah, it's like why move on when everyone's having so much success at the moment?
It's going to be the competition, I think, because Xbox has something next, and then you got Google sticking their hand into the ring.
Do we know that though?
Oh, what?
What?
Xbox has something next.
Sound like you were singing. Not gonna lie.
They have something, and they have to.
Totally has something. I mean,
they have to.
Xbox has like a console, but that's only
like 8 consoles. You got like 8 different SKUs coming apparently.
I only heard of the digital only version and then the disc version.
Yeah,
but they have something, because I think that, like I said, I think the reason why Sony and Xbox had to put out their consoles is due to competition. It's like we can't have one of you stepping ahead, even if there's a chance you might fail. We still can't have you stepping ahead, and I think that's what the situation is here. It's like it's not like Sony needs to do it, but they're like, I don't know if we want to.
Can't lose any ground.
Yeah, you don't want to take the risk of.
Honestly, even if the next Xbox launch early next year, I think Sony could get away without putting theirs out at the same time, I think there's because the install base, there's still going to be, unless this next Xbox is priced so ridiculously well that everyone just has to have it or something.
Yeah. People are going to wait. Look at before Dreamcast. The people just said, I'll just wait on the PS2. Thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People could be like, I'll just wait for the PS5, and maybe everything Microsoft's doing will entice some people, but I think it's too soon.
I was working in the game shop when people were saying that, man, forget the Dreamcast. I'm gonna wait for the PS2, and every single person I just wanted to drop kick, just jump on top of the counter and just drop kick him in the face and say, "You see
Sega finally got it right, and this is the time you're gonna say no. Fuck you."
Well, hey, listen, it was their fault. It was too many burns, yo.
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about a lot of companies.
Well, the thing was, for Sony fans, it was like only a year, but for a Nintendo fan like myself, I would have had to wait 2 years of nothing to get my next gen experience. And that Dreamcast, like that was a nice in between the N64 and GameCube. Like that was right in, but games ran 60 frames, super clean. Once the PS2 came out, it started making the Dreamcast look a little dated, but fuck.
I bought a Saturn for $400. I could not turn around and not get a Dreamcast.
Hey, listen, Dreamcast was a great stopgap console. It
was $200 at launch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cheap, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was $199. Yeah.
And anybody here not? Did anybody here not? Retro or any of you guys? Did you all have Dreamcast, or did anyone here not have a Dreamcast other than, I'm guessing, Robert?
I had a Dreamcast for a few days. And then what happened? Then it wasn't reading discs, and so I had to give it back. Obviously, it was from a thrift. It was like one from one of the mom and pop shops, and I picked it up, and I was like, "Yeah, I got a Dreamcast." It was like 3 years ago.
You don't.
It was like 3 years ago, and then all of a sudden, I tried playing some Crazy Taxi, and it didn't work. And so,
well, I have like 3 of them.
Why didn't you share?
No,
I have,
because of what happened to Robert. That's exactly why I have 3 of them, because of what happened to Robert. Eventually, that laser will die, and you're gonna be ass out if you ain't.
I'm running into that
now. The same. So you got.
I'm not gonna lie, I technically broke it a little bit more. I'm like, for some reason I'm thinking, I think I can fix this. I don't know why I think I can fix it, and so I looked it up, on YouTube, how to fix it, and so I just opened something up, and there was this little this little tapey kind of thing, and I pulled it, and it just ripped off. I was like, oh, and so I kind of put it back together, and I'm like, I'm just gonna give it back and act like, dude, it just doesn't work.
I feel like Robert threw it on the table. I'm done with this.
Retro was trying to say something a little bit ago.
No, I was just gonna say that I had a Dreamcast, but only for like 10 years now, I think, and the laser, like he said, is starting to die out. Like if I want to play a game, it's like a double game. It's like hoping it's gonna read it or not, so it doesn't always work. But I like all the games on there. I just never liked the controller. I hated the controller.
Yeah, that's a fact for me too. I wouldn't say I hated it, but it never got comfortable.
But the thing I liked about it was comfortable in the hands with like the grips and shit was super comfortable, but like the joystick thing barely worked. The buttons were pretty far away, and the cord at the bottom, that was just stupid.
And why would they put them damn needles on the damn on the thumbstick? It's like, there's plastic needles coming out of the thumbstick. That was not comfortable.
But I definitely like all the games, like Jet Force Radio is one of my favorite games. That is such a fucking cool game. I like Crazy Taxi and shit. Yeah, exactly, Grandia and 2 and shit. Like, there's a lot of incredible games on that. I still hope they at one point would remake.
Yeah, it's coming to the Switch stuff again, Grandia 2. I'll be grabbing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think honestly, there's something about the Dreamcast for me that always like it's almost like a little mystery, and I've always wanted to actually genuinely play it, and that's why it's always been on my radar. It's like, whoa,
it would be hard.
C-Man? Do you got C-Man on there? I've always wanted to.
I have
that. You got C-Man all over.
That's stupid.
You know, one game I got really addicted to, and it was unintentional. I think it was called Sega Swirl. I don't know if that was
Sega Swirl. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it is an addictive little puzzle game. So
I don't know what
anybody have Toy Commander?
No,
no doubt.
Yeah,
I get that bitch right now.
I
love Toy
I put that
Commander.
on my Instagram the other day. Yeah, fucking good game. That was a launch title, wasn't it?
It'd be weird to go
That's a
back
fun
and
little
play a game without like that level of game without a second. Not that game, but you know that level of visuals without a second analog stick. I think I just remember playing MDK2 and how convoluted they make the face buttons. You're just like the N64 or like the camera buttons. So all you had was your two triggers, and then the D-pad did some stuff. Like they really had to strip the controls down to try to make that work. And
doesn't the Dreamcast have a few 720? What is it? 720 games on it? 720p?
I think if you had the VGA,
the VGA
or RGB,
the original Xbox definitely had a few games that were 720.
I think they even had one that hit 1080i.
And 1080i, yeah, they had some. They had a few.
And now we're like 20 years later, we still can't fucking get 1080p to work.
It's a work in progress.
Oh, and 60 frames was pretty.
It's pretty much the standard.
Yeah, it was pretty much standard on Dreamcast. Yeah,
because I mean, just like Nintendo,
it's so ahead of its time, man.
They were like, we're gonna hit 60, and we're gonna sacrifice like anti-aliasing. That probably wasn't even a thing back then, anti-aliasing as much, but we want 60, and it does help a game that maybe has. You cut back some other areas, but when you see a game running at 60, it just, to me, it almost makes it look more, I don't want to say real, but it just moves more natural to your eyes.
Yeah.
I noticed.
Well, AA definitely was a thing because I believe N64, that's the problem with the N64's games, is excessive AA. Which makes the games blurry. Gives it that blurry look. So,
the crazy thing is, I went through a phase when I got my new monitor. I started putting games at 1440 and like, I can live with the slower, movement and stuff. And I've come full circle now. Now I'm putting all my games back to 1080 to get that 60 frame experience. And I'm like, man, why did I give up the smoothness, just for some sharper picture. And so I'm kind of back to where I started. So interesting. We're talking about that in the Xbox. There was a thought I had, and I think I mentioned it in my last Juice Opinions. Mortal Kombat 11's coming out in a couple weeks.
Yes.
And we were talking about how Xbox, needs to come out with a new system because, they're just doing nothing now. I kind of have a feeling Mortal Kombat 11 is going to sell better on the Switch than the Xbox. Does anybody agree or disagree with that?
Wow.
I want to see it before I make that claim.
Well, that's not. I mean, that's the point of making. He's making a
prediction.
Prediction, basically.
God,
you can't wait until the prediction happens to say, "Oh yeah, I agree."
Because it's like,
if I say it day one before I see sales number, it's still a prediction, T. All right.
A lot of people, they always say like, I gotta see it first, this and that, and I can kind of understand. But a lot of people also tend to forget that the Wii U had Injustice that looked really good. So there's no reason Mortal Kombat now would not look good.
Yeah,
I don't know about
my main concern, but the difference with Injustice and this, my main concern with Mortal Kombat, other than other things, is that Injustice didn't even get updates consistently, or
they didn't have friends.
Or
yeah, that was bullshit. Yeah,
like,
but I mean, it looked good.
Injustice is one of those games that were like, oh, that's a pretty good port, and then you looked in the options menu, and you went, no, you were so close, and we couldn't get it. So I'm hoping if we can get that, then I think we'll be fine. And I've heard reports from people who have played it saying it runs really well. So I'm hoping we maintain.
Make a guess right now. Which Xbox or Switch? Which one sells more?
I'm gonna say Switch because long term, I think it'll sell better on Switch.
I'm gonna say Xbox because most Xbox guys, that's the only thing they play.
Ouch.
I'm gonna say Switch, and I think even the launch numbers will be higher, and the end result.
I'm gonna say Switch too. Oh, sorry.
Tro, what'd you say?
Let T go first.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying Switch 2 only because there's not a lot of console sales happening for Xbox One right now, and I think with the Switch still selling pretty well,
it could even be.
There's something exciting about that game coming to. So.
We don't even know for sure. The Switch could be like almost at Xbox One numbers right now. We don't know because we're about
nearing 40.
It's pretty close now.
We could be getting the fiscal. Will probably be the end of this month.
But this isn't about install base; it's about excitement and it's about sales around the console. And if your console is stagnant at even at 60 million, and it's not selling, any impressive number or any even just decent number, the sales of new games on it won't be anything impressive either.
I think if it was another genre, I would default to Switch. Fighters do pretty okay on Xbox consoles. So I'm going to lean kind of towards what Robert was originally saying, which is that Xbox might have the better launch sales, but over time, I think the Switch overall will have the best sales for it.
What's the last million-seller fighter on Xbox?
Well, I'm looking at Mortal Kombat X sales right now. What do you think the Xbox One version of
I can't
Mortal
say
Kombat X?
I just looked it up.
I'm pretty sure PlayStation is higher. I would almost bet money.
I'm going to say 800,000.
It's more than it's
1.2 million.
7. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Million.
Wow. Everybody guess. But PS4 was 3.5. So
yeah, I knew PlayStation was higher.
But this was back when the Xbox and PS4 were a lot closer together. In install base, and
you know that the game sales are
I think
much on PlayStation.
I feel like Xbox fans are kind of like Wii fans in 2011 and Wii U fans in 2016.
Right.
I really
had 100 million install base. Nobody went buying games with that.
What was the last major game release on Xbox?
I mean, I got Resident
Evil. It was
Crackdown 3, son.
What is that? That's not a fair one.
Well, no, I got Devil May Cry 5. I got fucking Resident Evil 2. I got
Devil May Cry 5. I'm just curious, how was the split on that?
Oh, I thought you meant
I'm just genuinely curious. I mean, I'm curious, how much Xbox gamers are buying in 2019. I guess.
I don't even know if Devil May Cry
with Xbox not much anymore.
I doubt it even charted.
You would say it's uncharted? Is that what you say? Devil May Cry 5 does not have any info on VG charts for the Xbox.
Not yet,
I think it's too early, isn't it? Brand new.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember
2 weeks
VG
now.
charts.
It's been a month.
I remember VG charts would have updates for a few weeks after. Then now it's they're always 2 months behind and shit.
Yeah, they're really behind. I've noticed.
So I guess Dead or Alive probably came out after, didn't it?
Dead or Alive came out at the beginning of March.
Yeah, Dead or Alive was before.
Was it before? I thought
Devil May Cry was March.
Before Devil May Cry, I think so.
I thought Devil May Cry was okay. That's fine.
I thought Devil May Cry was first.
I thought Devil May Cry was in February or something.
I think we're gonna have to look at. I don't even know what game would be the best. But still, Clocked It. What do you think? The Switch version or Xbox version? Mortal Kombat 11. What's gonna do better?
Oh no, it came out a week later. Y'all were right. It came out March 8th.
There you go.
Sure.
Too many games.
This is all hypothetical and stuff. There's just so many factors right now. Why haven't we seen this game yet?
We haven't, but people at PAX East have.
I'm not gonna.
That's all that matters.
Hey, wait. Well, considering
you reckon?
I was gonna say, considering
what if?
There might be some footage this week. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
All right, Clock It. Finish your thought.
What if there's a Nintendo character exclusive in there?
That'd be a big deal.
Who would you want?
What if Ganon turned up or something?
Turned up where?
In more Kombat.
They use him in Diablo. I think it's funny. I think
Ganon would probably be make the most sense, actually.
No, it's like a skin though. It's not really him.
Nah, I want it to be him and fucking rip people apart.
No, I mean Diablo is just like a skin.
So they hold it for the April Direct if that's gonna happen. and then they say, right, here we go, here's Mortal Kombat on the Switch, and then Ganon turns up at the end, and everyone goes, and then it would sell more than the Xbox. Not right now, I still think it will sell more on the Switch. I mean, the last handheld Mortal Kombat I fucking played was on the Game Boy, and we all don't remember that shit, do we? So, no. I mean, yeah, and it's gonna, I think, I'll go with the Switch as well.
And Terrell, where did you land? Because you said like 3 different things.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was essentially in the moment, like in the first few weeks, of probably Xbox, and then over time it'll be the Switch.
So Switch.
So you're saying Switch?
Yeah, Switch over.
Making it complicated and shit.
The one thing though that Clackett brings up, the Nintendo fan base has not really seen a whole lot other than 2 CGI story trailers or whatever, that were basically the same across all platforms. They showed the same thing. But maybe that's enough for a lot of people to just know it's coming,
I think a lot of people might wait just because they're a little paranoid. I mean, let's be real. Like, we know that the Switch has to make sacrifices, but some people kind of want to know the extent of those sacrifices.
Well, the frame rate ain't one of them, because they just reiterated again. Ed Boon was like, it's 60.
Yeah, but the problem is developers lie. I don't trust anything until I get it in my hands.
Why the hell they can't show us this shit? They
you can't sit here and tell me it's gonna be 60 frames. Where's the gameplay? What?
That's why I have like 2 theories on that. One, the game looks so bad they don't want the negative publicity before it launches. Or 2, it looks so good they're afraid like most people would try to go away from the other versions and shit, and let's say a lot of people it could be, I mean, come on, in this day and age when it comes to multiplayer, a lot of you guys already have said multiple times and have done it over and over, if a multiplayer is released, I would prefer it on the Switch because I can take it anywhere. So I think a lot of people, maybe it's like some kind of marketing thing, with with PlayStation. PlayStation's been doing some weird shit. So that they're like, oh wait, the Switch version could look pretty good. Let's not show that yet. Now we've had shit like that where companies told other companies to not show shit. I don't remember when it was, a year or 2 ago with some game. They did some really weird shit like that. So I think it could look good enough that they're like, no, let's not show it yet.
So what you saying is that what we always thought was that if the public sees that these games sell and look good enough on the Switch, why the fuck would you want to buy it on another platform? Because we all thought the Switch is the future, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of if you can get good enough handheld-looking games that match your console, TV games, and it could do both, what's the point of the other consoles? Is that what you're saying? To retro, yeah.
You sleeping?
I don't think we're there yet.
You blew his mind.
I'm looking at
God, man.
Hey, Retro, you okay?
He said, yeah. I don't know if you heard him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did that.
I didn't hear
I was
shit.
waiting for you to after he said yeah, for you to follow up with your follow-up.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, come on, let's be it doesn't need to look better than other versions. That's not what I said. But we had games, for example, and specific. Okay, let's use some dumb example. The HD version, for example, of Lego City Undercover. It looked better on the Switch than I did on the Xbox One. There's things it's not that it can't happen, So I think it doesn't even need to get
I know where you're coming from.
much better. But I mean, it could be so on par, that the companies like Sony, they're afraid that too many sales are going to be taken away from them. That's what I mean with it.
The one thing I can say though is I just watched the new TV spot, and it doesn't end with an Xbox or PlayStation logo. In your face, it just at the bottom has PlayStation, PS4, Xbox, Switch, PC. So it's not an ad paid for by either of the other 2 companies. So,
Juice, you should do a poll on Twitter for this. Actually,
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, speaking of polls, my last poll got 302 votes. Usually, I barely get 50 votes.
Juice, I've come to a realization that bums me out. I can't listen to Juice Opinions because sometimes you repeat the information. I'm like, why am I getting this bad sense of deja vu? I'm like, oh, that's right, because I watched this Juice Opinions where he talked about some of this stuff already. So when he said it, I was like, why do I feel like I've already heard it? Like,
yeah, I'm not gonna bring up I'm not gonna go over it, but that was by far the most not interaction, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Interaction counts, kind of.
I guess interaction, but that's not the better word.
Involvement.
The most involvement, yeah, that I've ever had on a poll. So, and it's obviously the PS4 version is going to sell the best, so that's not really relevant. I'll put the poll up.
Imagine what if the Switch.
Well, that's why you only put Nintendo Switch and Xbox versions. All right.
I feel like that would be a huge upset.
Yeah, if it outsold the PS4 version, that would. I mean, no way.
Well, actually, here's a better question. Because I think the Cuphead's at like 3 million or so. Do you think the Switch version is going to catch up to that?
It's at 3 million?
I thought it was at 3 million because it's on PC too. It's between Xbox.
Well, okay. Well,
just look at that.
What's the separation?
I don't think they separate. That's the reason why I can't do it.
Yeah, because it actually sold 10 copies on Xbox. So
I'd be surprised if it even gets to 1 million.
Say what?
I'd be surprised if it even gets to 1 million Cuphead.
Oh, I know it's going to get to 1 million.
I think it'll get to 1.
I'm more curious. Do you think it'll outsell
Cuphead?
Yeah.
Sold the Xbox version? Is that what you're asking?
Oh, let me see.
If it sold 3 million with PC and Xbox, that's a pretty big indie game. I think it'll easily sell 1 million on Switch.
Yeah,
what kind of timetable should I put on the sales of Mortal Kombat 11?
Maybe this week. Just
say by E3, which version of Mortal Kombat will sell the most by E3?
I think by E3, yeah, fuck it.
Jesus, it's only like 2 months though.
Still,
that's 2 months. Yeah, fuck it.
I won't even.
I love Robert sometimes. I feel like Robert.
It's the same price, you know.
I feel like Robert's sitting in his box, his feet up, like, yeah, man, fuck it, just sell it all. Oh,
dude, I tell you what, that 3 million sale thing, that sale figure, guarantee you, like 75% of that is on PC.
I would believe that, honestly.
Well, does it count? Does Game Pass count? Because I know.
No way.
They don't use
That's not a sale.
No, they don't count Game Pass. Because, well, yeah, it's not a sale.
Yeah.
I mean, they might get. I guess do companies get a portion of that? Considering,
I'm sure.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, kickback.
But I don't think it would count as a sale. So.
No, they were adamant about saying that Game Pass.
I just wanted to double check it. Cuphead had sold around 3 million copies by August of last year. So it's probably higher than that now.
Oh, no, totally. But, like, I just think for sure it will outsell the whatever the Xbox number was. I don't think maybe I'll sell the PC number, but we will never know.
Well, yeah, because actually, no, because Xbox, they track digital sales, I guess. I don't know why Cuphead hasn't had any traction. And I mean, they haven't got the numbers for it.
Well, because they want to make it like they sold so many on Xbox, even though they haven't, because they don't sell games on Xbox.
Jesus,
y'all some haters.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like I've become less angry over time, and everyone else is just kind of rosing up in their hatred to match my previous intensity.
I just think it's just annoying because it's like, dude, like at least give us. Why are you hiding from the numbers? Like, just tell us. Just tell us. We're not gonna hurt you. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, remember that old the old. We have 1 million accounts on Sea of Thieves or something. Like,
yeah.
Somebody could have created 3 accounts.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm curious. Did they put Sea of Thieves numbers on here yet? Let's look.
This is the greatest lineup in Xbox history. People got mad when I made fun of that shit. Greatest games lineup in Xbox history.
They said it was at least at 1 million.
In my last Juice Opinions, I said that, and some dude in the comments was acting like. First, he was like, "Phil Spencer has never lied to us," and I'm like, "I go, what about greatest games lineup?"
No,
and then he's like, "I think he just meant the Xbox One." in the Xbox One's life. No, he said the greatest games lineup Xbox history.
Xbox history.
Guys, I have a question for you. Do you answer yes or no? Do you think Sea of Thieves is at 1 million copies sold?
It is.
Yeah.
I would say no.
Because VG Chart says it's not.
Well, that's not.
Well, fuck VG Chart said.
I know.
To be fair, VG Charts is close. It's like 900.
Yeah, they said it was 1 million with digital sales. They said that a while ago.
You get excited about that if you're an indie game company.
That's also like
not
Steve just said that.
Studio.
Yeah, Rare.
He just said that and thought it was funny. Like when they said like greatest lineup in Xbox history, and in April we have the greatest Switch lineup in video game history.
Yeah, it is. It's got some. I mean, Darksiders remastered, getting some praise. Hey, it might be time for me to play the game.
What the hell was that? Like this evil laugh.
All these old ass games. They're trying to praise that.
That Katana game, whatever, seems to be getting.
You don't even know the name of the game.
They talk about all these. Oh my God! Look at the Switch.
Swords, y'all.
This is the greatest month in Nintendo history with all these old ass games.
Relax.
Out of here.
Oh my goodness.
Getting a little too excited over there, man.
Come on, man. I'm just
trying to it'd be hard to say.
I just want some orange juice, y'all.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to say Cuphead sales when it's digital anyway on Switch, unless they announce it. We might never even know.
I think there
is a physical version.
Yeah, it's physical cart, my man. What you talking about? That's the only reason I even give a shit.
Oh, it has a physical version?
Yeah, it's got a physical version.
Coming out same day?
I don't know that.
I'm pretty. Oh, maybe it's like a week later. It's some weird shit.
I was about to say it might. There's usually a gap with those kind of games.
Yeah, I think it's like a week or two later, or some stupid shit.
Because life is hard.
It's stupid. It's like, okay, how much is Cuphead? What is it? 2 gigs tops? I mean, what is that game taking up space?
I don't know space wise. It's not a lot. It's like less than 3 gigs.
All right, so it's gonna fit on one of those 2 gig to 4 gig carts, which is, from all accounts, very comparable to a Blu-ray disc in cost. Why didn't they fucking just launch this shit with the game when it comes out? Yo. I don't understand these things. There's no excuse.
You're just done with the bullshit. Is that it?
I'm done with the bullshit. Can we get on to the Bethesda bullshit too? Because that's some bullshit too.
What did I miss? I was replying to somebody on Twitter.
Yeah, Juice's Bethesda hate angles are like tingling.
But we were talking about Cuphead, how it was coming out late, physical and shit. Why is this happening? And then I went into Bethesda and why the fuck they playing games with Youngblood.
I'm surprised to hear Rick in the back go, "Fuck you, T."
So is because I said I brought up the is it coming out the same date? And
I heard a Switch slurper. And the slurpers slurp everything that come out of the Switch. I heard him say that, it's okay to get an empty box. Fuck you. Fuck you.
What do you mean get an empty box?
It's only the digital code for Wolfenstein.
Oh, sorry. It comes with a paper code inside your empty case. Get the fuck. Like,
which game? I need to get
been okay.
Go back. Let's go back.
Let you
my bad.
Pause.
Interrupt. I said 5 it up.
Clocked it. You gotta. I don't know if it's your internet lately, but we've seemed to be out of sync time. I think there's a delay.
Why is it gotta be his internet? A man live across the pond.
I know. I just noticed the last couple of weeks is people talking over him, he coming in when someone's talking, type of thing. So I think there might be an issue.
Although that hasn't been a problem with retro. Maybe that France internet is much better.
Yeah. So anyway, pause everything. Pause everything. Which game were you talking about when you said the empty box?
Youngblood.
I was talking about Youngblood.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Who publishes that game?
Bethesda.
Okay.
Bugthesda.
Hey, relax. It's Wolfenstein. It's Wolfenstein Youngblood.
He knows that. He just
I think he's been an ass.
He's talking with retro.
It's like we go to Reddit, be like, treat him like I'm 5.
So that's
what
a separate game.
Retro? Yeah, it's like a $30 game.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a game.
Yeah.
I think there's also a VR version of it. That's what kind of confused people.
Yeah, well, Bethesda is some hoes, and they got to put every thing out there to make money on.
Yet.
Why haven't put the box on? I don't understand that.
because people like boxes. Don't you like physical? Yeah.
I heard from a Switch slurper today that people like empty boxes. What the fuck are you talking about? I just don't understand these things.
Or at work when somebody's a ass kisser, you know, we say gulp as if they're swallowing something.
Gulp. Fuck. I'll hear it. The sound effect. Get the fuck out of here.
So what is this Youngblood? What is this? I just thought it was like a little DLC expansion or something.
It's kind of a DLC expansion. It's basically like Torna.
It's like New Dawn or something.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
Robert, you don't know what that is.
But it's a completely different story with different characters and stuff.
Okay. Same boring gameplay, I'm guessing.
Oh Lord, here you go.
Whoa.
I can't say Wolfenstein 2. I didn't play it, but the one that's predecessor was some Call of Duty wannabe fucking bullshit. God, it's boring.
Nah, 2 isn't like that. I'll tell you that much.
Dudes just popping up. I mean, it's just endless hordes of pop-up targets and.
Well, that happens.
Isn't that way too?
And way too many cinematic. We're not doing anything moments in the first. I don't know. It was like first 3-4 hours, but
damn
yeah, that's not a problem in 2.
Well, Youngblood, I think is actually no, because I was gonna say it's more like isn't it like more like funky, but then it's not really actually.
I bet that was when that first one came out. Call of Duty was at its peak, so I think they were trying to capture that.
Yeah,
Call of Duty feel.
It had just came back again because they kept rebooting Wolfenstein, so that second reboot basically was a second reboot of Wolfenstein. So
still, it shouldn't be a damn code inside of the damn box.
Yeah, that's utter nonsense. Just have it as a download. I don't understand why the fucking game can't come out on a cartridge at this point. Like,
honestly, why you don't want the box? Why don't you want the box?
I would rather pay $5 to $10 more for the damn cart than get a damn empty box.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you.
So
Nintendo fans don't want options? How dare you?
We'll have to wait to see how much the download is to really tell us how much of a kick in the nuts.
Can it be more than? Can it be more than Wolfenstein 2? Can it be because it's supposed to be a smaller story?
And, yeah,
you would think Panic Button. They got the engine. You would think they'd be able to do even more, like compress or whatever they need to do for this smaller game.
Yeah, a smaller game should be able to fit on a 16 gig cart, but
I don't understand.
No, but would you rather have a no cart or a cart plus also you have to download more? I wouldn't mind just having.
If you're buying a box, you might as well have at least something.
Yeah, something in there.
Exactly. I'd rather have I'd rather have it all on one cart. I don't see why it can't do that when Doom did it, especially if this is like I said, a little side game. But I would rather have that cart that even if I had to download some extra shit to it, at least that's something tangible.
Depends on.
See, I'm not going to bend like that at all. I'm not going to bend like that at all because we shouldn't bend at all. They are one of the biggest developers and publishers in the world. They can afford to put these fucking games onto cartridges, even the big ones. If they want to, just don't make that many.
I wouldn't have bought it if it was a partial download. I wouldn't have bought that either. I'd have been pissed off by that. But at least that is something. I still wouldn't have bought it, but I would like. At least that's better than nothing. A code inside of a case. Why waste the manufacturing time on a damn case? Like, give me a break.
Bullshit.
That shit doesn't make any sense.
I'll get that case.
Bullshit, all of it.
I want that case.
The advertisement for the Youngblood makes it look all like modern, but then you just look at the actual gameplay. It looks like the same levels I've seen from.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I meant. Like it seems like more like.
But they're trying to. The ad seems like it's all like blues and reds, like neon.
Yep. Yeah.
But then it looks like the base, like the game.
Well, it's called Youngblood because it's dealing with a younger group of freedom fighters, or whatever, and that's so they're trying to. I'm sure they're just trying to play off of that, but it's in the same time period. It's the same setting.
Do we know how much Wolfenstein sold for on the Switch? Is this why they're?
I thought I looked that up.
They what?
This is why they might be refusing to do it.
I don't remember.
Because Wolfenstein wasn't as hyped as Doom, was it? Doom was much more hyped, and I think that done much better than Wolfenstein.
That's also because I think Doom was a better.
That's just a better game.
It's just a better game. I mean,
yeah, I think it was just the game itself. Like Doom was such a return to form for a lot of people. It was like Wolfenstein is just kind of Wolfenstein. It's like, oh, that's cool. But what about that Doom though?
Yeah, Doom is a much better game. Yeah, and it has multiplayer online, so that also helps.
No one plays that though.
I was
not
playing
really.
the other day. maybe not nearly as much anymore, but
We don't believe in that.
there was enough people to play when I played it last. There was no like waiting and shit. So I don't see any numbers here. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Oh,
What the hell was that?
as me looking at this.
Steve, please.
You're looking at about 100 million or 100 million, 100,000 in sales.
Oh,
I was gonna say, goddamn, 100,000. Yeah, see,
Look at 110,000.
It's not very
pocket
good.
money,
I'm not
pocket
surprised.
money.
But you can't blame the game on. You can't blame the sales.
On the game.
Right. It's like because the
Blame
game
the
didn't sell.
game on
The
sale.
game didn't sell well on anything. Let's just get that out there.
Oh yeah. True.
So you can't blame it on that because the game didn't sell well.
And it also came out way late.
And it
Ways,
came
I
out
think
way late,
Wolfenstein
right?
is more visually impressive too. That's what kills me.
Yeah. So you take a game that didn't sell well on anything, and then you put it out a year and a half later. What you expect, Nick?
Expect a better game. I can't get a better game. Hate you, man. I can't get a better game. I don't believe them. I'm going back to Doom. Fuck this.
I'm surprised
Yeah,
Wolfenstein
it's a good
2.
game, though.
Wolfenstein 2 hasn't hit Game Pass yet. How low the numbers were, but I don't think Bethesda. I don't think they have any games on there.
I
But
thought you were going to dig at Game Pass, and I was disappointed you didn't. I thought you say, this Game Pass gets games. You didn't get Wolfenstein 2 yet?
well, it gets games.
Wolfenstein
You
2
seems to
ain't
get
on there?
games that aren't selling great or past their selling. Their
Yeah.
prime's done, so they throw it on there, and it seems like
But,
Wolfenstein might be a game.
Because
suited to
they
that.
got that money, I don't care.
Is Doom on there?
No,
No,
Doom did too well. Fuck you.
I don't think there's any rules. I think Bethesda just don't want to put this shit on there because they like making money.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like everybody likes making money. I just don't see. I'm more in the sense of like what Clock did said. Like
Some people like
if you
make
have
more
a
money
game,
more than others.
either make a game physical or don't make it physical at all. Like the option of having like what game was it? The NBA Playground. I don't know, NBA 2K. I don't remember which fucking game that did it. You know,
NBA
like
2K Playgrounds,
if you leave,
2K,
if you have a card and you have to like download the game onto it, it's not a physical thing either. Like for me, a physical game is like if internet dies in the world, I can still plug it in and play it and shit. So I don't want none of that like code bullshit either. But I mean, I can't blame Bethesda for like
you can.
no, for any company. If a game didn't sell before, like why put the money in it? Because the next one won't sell better either. But the idea
But what's the point though? That's
the
what I'm saying.
idea of having the code in the box in the store, as much as I hate it, is so that people who go to the store see the game there. And because not everybody shops online, and a lot of people go to like stores and shit. It's just to have that the what's the word I'm looking for, just so that people see it, out there and that kind of shit. The exposure, so that the game is still out there and shit.
Okay.
Doesn't change the fact that I approve of it. It's still stupid.
So you
But
think
yeah,
it's gonna
I
sell
understand why they won't release it physical.
better? I don't. Do you think it's gonna sell better than 1 or Wolfenstein 2?
I think people, I don't know if you ask me, I think in general people kind of overestimate how big Wolfenstein is. Wolfenstein is not that big of levels of like, let's say Doom or the Elder Scrolls, some shit like that. I think Wolfenstein has a lot of like legacy behind it because of what it did in the past.
Right now. I'm trying to get you to answer the
no,
question.
The truth is the truth. Wolfenstein is living off its like fucking Super Nintendo
But that's
legacy.
not the question I asked you.
To me, you can make the same argument for Doom, though.
That wasn't the question I asked.
No, that was my answer. It's not going to sell for shit, I think.
So you,
Wait,
okay,
was
so
Stein on a stats? I can't remember. I don't think it was.
so again, what is the point? Like, what's the point if it's not going to sell better than Wolfenstein 2 on Switch sold? What's the point of going through the development cycle and putting out a game that's going to sell even worse?
What's the point of putting a plastic box on it?
I get the plastic box. I know he's right about that.
I get that
it's a
point.
display thing. It's like, okay, yeah.
Well,
it's on
I think
too.
also like,
and then you get pissed off when you go see that there's no
made.
damn.
I think
there's no game in there, and you get pissed off. You're like,
yeah, but I think a lot of people, they often think like a game, for example, needs to sell like a gazillions to make a profit. That's not really true. If the game is already there, they just need to port it and shit. Maybe they're thinking like, okay, if Wolfenstein sells like 50,000, then it was already worth porting it to the Switch, you know?
So did Wolfenstein 2? You think Wolfenstein 2 made a profit on Switch?
I don't know. I'm saying that's not what you asked before. Before you asked if it makes sense, and I said if they see like they don't need to sell millions. I think if they see like, okay, that one sold 100K. If this one reaches 50K, then it was already worth it. You know, that's what I'm saying.
You also got to think about the fact that
development costs.
Yeah, because
Panic Button is worth.
But look, if they're reusing, because it's kind of obvious they're reusing the Wolfenstein 2 engine.
Well, yeah,
it's not
for everything.
It's not going to take a lot of time. This game probably didn't cost as much to make versus like the OG or Wolfenstein 2. So the threshold of how much money a version has to make ain't that high. So they're like, well, it probably isn't going to make a lot. But they'll probably make at least enough for us to be like, yeah, all right, that's fine.
Well, they might be thinking
50,000 copies. That's good.
They might just like, fuck it. Yeah.
They could be thinking, well, if we can get close to that 100,000, it's definitely worth it. I mean, we don't know. Like he said, the development cost of this game could have been like next to nothing compared to the making Wolfenstein 2.
Oh, I would bet money that's probably the case because it's using the same engine.
Yeah, and it's using probably the same everything.
Yeah, it's probably the same assets, so it probably didn't take that much.
And so, I mean, it's
but still, I don't think even I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. 50,000, 60, 70,000. I don't think that's worth it.
Some companies don't care. Also, I mean, you got these lower tier games like the AA titles that can sell like 100 to 300,000.
But this ain't it, Chief. That ain't it, Chief. Youngblood ain't it though. That's
I mean, they
tier.
probably
it might be it now though.
They might have really liked the numbers Skyrim did, and
Skyrim did sell 1 million on Switch. Didn't
Doom, like they just might be like, hey, we're gonna support the system, even we're not expecting to make tons of money off it. But I still give them credit for porting it. I think the empty box thing is just, I think it's just stupid.
I think I put it this way: it's stupid.
Man, I want an empty case.
The other games didn't
my
have
collection.
Issue. I'm more willing to give this a pass because at least the other games were all on carts, except for probably multiplayer.
Oh y'all, some slurpers. Fuck all y'all.
Yes.
I ain't having that bullshit.
I see why they would try to trick people, put a box on the shelf, and
they trick me, man.
Just put a download. Just have a Switch download code.
That.
That you buy at Best Buy. They have those game specific codes on a little, like a Best Buy card, thing. It just seems like that was that would be a better option than just an empty box.
Yeah, like even if you you can get a 1 gig cartridge. That would still be better than what you're doing, and that would cost you the same much it's costing you to do a Blu-ray. Like that's still a poor, terrible thing to do, but it's still better than.
I'm torn on that one. Part of me thinks it's worse. Part of me thinks
I don't know.
A 1 gig card, they have like the first level.
Here's the thing: you
worthless.
took me from wanting to buy this game to not wanting to buy it at all.
Yeah, but what if you had to download 15 gigs on top of the cart?
To me, it would just piss me off. It's like, well, what the fuck? I'd rather not have.
No, that would still be bad. I still want to buy. I told you that.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I don't think that's any better. I don't think a 1 gig cart's any better. That's just me though.
Is it better than
It's still better effort than nothing.
I would say I'd rather have the download code at that point.
Of course,
I don't have to put it
better.
Why waste money on the cart if you're only gonna give me a gig cart?
But yeah. I'm just saying, I'm talking about an extreme scenario here. Like, do what you did with Wolfenstein 2. Like, if that, and I still don't understand why it won't fit. It's a smaller game using the same engine. You got Panic Button, who should be better with this than anybody at this putting this game on there. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I think probably the reason they didn't put it on a cart is that like they're already maybe break. Let's just assume they're thinking, or we probably turn a little profit if they put a card in there and try to sell it at 30. They would. I think there goes any chance of a profit. They put it out and it's $10 more than the other versions. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard.
I'm the one. Here's the thing. I'm the customer you want. I'm the guy who went out and paid full price for this game a year and a half later, whatever it was, on the Switch, and still had to download part of it. I'm the one you should be trying to get back. But you just told me, fuck you. And so I'm saying the same thing back. That's so you get all these scenarios and whatnot. I'm your customer. I'm the guy who bought your game already, and you pissing me off. So good luck. Good luck with your code in a box.
Yeah,
I'm not buying that.
Imagine if like a major, like not just this. I mean, it's a smaller game, even the main one. This is kind of a spin-off like expansion. Imagine if you bought Mortal Kombat 11 on Switch. You have a Switch. You don't listen to podcasts or anything.
Yeah.
And it was an empty box for like a major title. I think that would be some outrage. But
yeah, it's like here's the thing: all these, like I said, these slurpers who out here is, oh yeah, I would love an empty box. Basically, are saying that none of these dudes bought Wolfenstein 2 on Switch. I did. I'm the one you should be satisfied or trying to satisfy again, but you're not doing that.
Yeah, so. It's just a weird thing. I mean, other games have done it on other systems. I mean, it's not just the Switch. I remember we talked about this maybe 2 years ago, where somebody was selling.
Yeah, this isn't new.
An empty box with a code.
Yeah, and they do that with a lot of the limited editions and all that shit.
They do it with like Fortnite and PUBG and shit. Those are just
right. Fortnite has it, yeah.
Download codes in a box, and it's just weird. Like, I don't know. But
Fortnite
anyway.
is free though. At least Fortnite is free.
Well, you're not when you buy it in the store.
Well, I mean, you're buying a box. That's literally the whole point of it.
Buying a box, you get some points. You're basically buying the V points or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting that stuff with it.
But it's still
the game
just
itself is free.
So yeah, it's weird. But I can't really. I didn't really have a whole lot of topics planned. Does anything? We got something. I'm trying to think of what we.
Didn't y'all
let's talk about how Square thinks they can sell us $50 fucking games from the PS2 upres PS2 games.
Oh, you're talking about
$50 on Switch. Fuck you for that too.
Yeah, because that's coming out on
Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2. Or are you talking about 12?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 10, 10-2. I don't know what 12 is. Is that
I was so hyped for Final Fantasy 7 and 9 on the Switch. I was like, yo, fucking day one, man, day one. They rolled up. They were like £20. I was
$20. Yeah, $20.
It's like, I don't really care for Final Fantasy 7, but if they had released that physical, I would have bought it just for what it fucking represented.
Right. Yeah. Me too.
Yep, I would have bought that.
Since we're throwing like random complaints out there, like I have one where they released all the versions and shit. They showed all the versions for Borderlands 3 and like the European massive like $250 edition collector shit comes like without a game, like not even a code or anything.
Yeah, I was talking about that. I was like, it comes without the game. Well, some of these things come out with a code, but some of them also come without a code. And it's just
they don't even get the game. It's stupid.
What's the point of that shit?
You're making me drop $250 for a game that has no game in it. What the fuck is that?
You lost the
bet. One job.
So when did this Final Fantasy games come out? That's $50 fucking dollars.
No, it hasn't come out yet.
It comes out
when
during
did
the
it come out
originally?
It came out on the PlayStation 2.
That was a PS2 game?
Yeah,
those are all PS2 games.
10 and 10-2 are PS2 games. 7 is a PS1 game, and 9 is a what is 9? 2?
9 is a PS1.
I think 9 is
it 1?
8 is PS1.
Yeah, it's my it's probably my favorite Final Fantasy.
I think 9 is PS1 too. Yeah.
Did you see
9 is PS1.
Evil games.
Have
you seen that? Have you seen the pre-order prices for the Resident Evil games?
Oh yeah, those are expensive too.
$30, aren't they?
They're taking the fucking.
Well, Capcom, I've already given up on them motherfuckers.
I guess
he's like losing faith in like everybody.
I can't even get mad at Capcom no more. It's just like, Capcom.
I mean, you can, you just don't want to.
Yeah,
you're like an abused wife.
Well, these games, officially they came out on the PS3 to get X and X2 as a HD remaster.
Yeah.
They
were $40.
So they put them on the PS3, then they put them on the PS4. It's like
they were $40 by the
Are
way
you
when they
fucking
came out
kidding
brand
me?
new.
Yeah, if nothing else, at least I'll say it's not like a Switch tax thing. That's like how much they were charging on PS4, if I remember correctly.
I don't know, man. That's
but when they come out, it's just
I
bullshit.
don't know, man.
I don't know.
It ain't my fault. Final Fantasy 15 cost you as an arm and a leg. You trying to pay for it with all this bullshit you're doing with the.
Wait, was Final Fantasy 7 always $16? Because that's what it is right now.
No, it was 20. It was 20.
Well, it's 16 on eShop. I'm gonna say it right now.
Yeah, I still ain't buying that shit.
Nine is
$16. That seems like
15 for 7. That's
you're gonna pay
it's
that.
a good price. It's a good price if you don't have the game.
Yeah, you're gonna pay that for Ocarina of Time on the Virtual Console would come out. It'd be $15 easy. I think maybe 10.
You think I'm buying Ocarina of Time on a Virtual Console?
They were £9. £9.
I'm never buying that shit again.
And 64 games.
Nah, there were more than that here. There was some that were 15.
Yeah, but £9 that kind of almost comes down to $15 though, dollars.
All these people that want not GameCube, but all these people that want N64 and all that stuff, a Virtual Console. I'm happy for you if you get it. I ain't buying that shit again. I will not do it. Why?
I'm not overly surprised.
How many different ways I own this shit? I got Ocarina of Time on GameCube. What the fuck? I'm not buying that shit again.
I want 3DS Virtual Console. That's what I want.
There's only like a few games I need to play on 3DS. From 3DS.
I'm not being Nintendo biased here. I'm not buying. If they want to charge $20 for a digital game, fuck you. I ain't buying that shit for no $20. Crazy.
What, for that Square Enix?
Out of your mind.
Now, is it principal or is it?
It ain't my fault you lost all your money on that stupid ass movie 20 years ago. Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
So if they let's say it was on sale, would you get it then?
But
if
it's on sale right now, ain't it?
No,
about 10 and 10 too though. What would that?
I'm not buying that shit digitally. I'm not paying $50 for that shit.
No, that's what I'm asking. If it was on sale, would you get it?
What do you think the price should be of an old collection of 2 games from PS2 generation? That was basically it's a port of the PS3 game, really.
It's like an up-res for PlayStation.
I would think $30,
35,
probably.
30, somewhere in there. 30, 35.
For Final Fantasy 10 and Final Fantasy 10-2, they should be £1 each because those games are trash.
Hey, fuck you, man. What the fuck?
Wow, that's a racist statement. How fucking dare you?
I already have those games. If you want me to buy them again, you have to give me a nice price.
Different story. You said 10 to get in a dick, yo.
Yeah.
Those are the last good Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, you're fucking crazy.
Update on the poll.
Trash.
We're gonna do a update on the Mortal Kombat 11 poll. Switch versions at 83%, Xbox One version 17%. So a lot of people think the Switch version.
Now let me fuck with that poll real quick.
But somebody did bring up a point.
Shit.
He said worldwide or just NA. Well, if Mortal Kombat 11 has any appeal in Japan, the Switch would have a huge advantage there. I don't know that Mortal Kombat 11 would sell in Japan.
Because they always censor gore in Japan.
Well, it doesn't mean it won't sell. They don't care.
I don't know. That means
I don't think they care about censorship of that.
Wait, they censor gore where?
In Japan. Because they did with the Resident Evil games. The Resident Evil remake.
They still do that shit?
Yeah, gore is like...
For some reason...
They're sex.
Gore is sex as it is in the U.S.
Let's see what Mortal Kombat 10 did in the U.S. on the PlayStation. That'll give us an idea if there is a market at all.
True
that, yo.
Yeah, I don't think Mortal Kombat sells that well over there. That's some Western shit.
I mean, it's also, it is. It's a very Western fighting game. People are more excited about Samurai Showdown.
That looked, I didn't know that game existed.
I'm surprised.
Pretty good.
Because they had trailers out.
It didn't have the classic Samurai Showdown camera though.
Ironically enough, I would say the blood in that game seems really out of place.
It's throwing me off. Yeah, and the blood doesn't really match the visual.
No,
like the visual style, it's like playing an SNK game with blood effects, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
I don't need that.
So there's no
King of Fighters with blood. That would be so strange.
Japan Mortal Kombat X shows 0, not available for the Japan numbers.
It probably wasn't because it probably was rated.
They probably didn't release that shit.
So and then Ed Boon said X sold almost 11 million. So it sold could be from 8 to 10.
Let's see.
You think you skewed it that bad?
Because almost 11 million. I guess I would think that meant 10, at least 10.
10 going.
I would assume 10.
But there's a girl at work who's like, it's almost 5 o'clock, and it was 3:55.
How was that related?
Well, maybe she can't. Maybe she can't read a analog clock.
No, she literally.
That's such a weird correlation, Juice.
No, because it's I think it's pretty fitting for. Because to me, I would say,
middle-aged man, and she's some young ass girl.
I would say it's almost 4 o'clock. I wouldn't say it's almost 5 o'clock till after 4:30. So in some people's minds, almost means something completely different.
I'm missing something. I totally missed something in that story.
I just want to say,
because Ed Boon says almost 11 million. So I said that could be. That doesn't necessarily mean it's 10.9.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it could be like 10.6
because
it could be 10.000.
You would hope it would be past 10 and a half. If you're
that was the point I was making.
Yeah,
but to this girl at work,
but
3:55 is almost 5. So
Also, I'm confused because
that's insane. That's kind of insane.
I'm also confused because I looked at the sales. PlayStation 4 version of X is at like 3.4 million, 3.49 million. And then Xbox is only at 1.7.
Well, that's VG charts. You can't trust.
Well, I just want to say that
VG charts said whatchamacallit was over 1 million, and they took it back.
Oh, you
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta 2. So
I mean, there could have been a Steam sale for X, where it was $5 and it sold 1 million copies that day.
I guess when did he say that? Is a better question.
This was 4 days ago.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't think you gotta worry about Japan because apparently Mortal Kombat 11 is not coming to Japan.
Yeah,
see,
it gets banned.
Told you.
I think Mortal Kombat.
It's too violent.
I think Mortal Kombat
take the blood out of that game. That game is still.
It's because they took the titties out.
No, Japan doesn't give a fuck about that.
You know who I don't see in the. Who was it that made that comment last? Was it Subliminal Lime or somebody else?
Oh, you're talking about Senseless?
No, Senseless Mind. Yeah, I don't see her in the chat today. I wonder.
I think we
got a little offended by Terrell's comments.
It wasn't my comments.
By Terrell's comments?
My comments? What do you mean my comments?
Yeah, thanks, Terrell.
Terrell gets got in the bus and shit.
What are you talking about?
You're the one.
Another one.
No, the comment you're talking about.
I asked you about a fucking what it means that they haven't shown us the Switch version, and you start talking censorship, and we got into a 50-minute discussion. So it is your fault.
God damn.
Like you kept pushing that narrative. I kept trying
you took it all the way up. I thought you were talking about the specific line she was offended by, which was the whole fake gamer thing. Because I was like, originally, T said it in passing, and I'll admit, when I listened, I co-signed without really thinking about it because I didn't think it was that big. Because
I think I was taken out of context there.
Well, no, but I'm saying,
what did I say specifically?
It was something along the lines of because real gamers don't really real girl gamers don't really care about that kind of stuff. And I said, yeah, but you said it in passing as if it wasn't it wasn't I didn't think it was that was big of a statement.
No, it wasn't me saying you're a fake girl gamer. If you can, that's what
I thought.
I think that's the way she took it.
Yeah, that's not.
Let me tell you how I took it before you explain. I took it that you meant kind of like the people that complain about this stuff aren't even gamers anyway, so who cares?
Right, that's what I was saying. And
that's the problem.
So here's the thing: when you're talking off the cuff on a podcast, and some people won't realize that if you haven't done it, you're bullshitting a lot of times. You're shooting the breeze, and stuff don't come out the way you intended to come out. Sometimes that's just how it is.
I kind of figured you meant it that way, like SCW kind of shit. So in the comments section,
one of you guys
on the previous podcast, I told her that it wasn't meant like that. It probably just came out wrong. It was meant as in people who don't play games in general.
Right, that's what I meant. That's what I was trying to say, and that's what
it's
I thought.
the Anita
I said at the time.
Sarkeesian types that are
exactly
about
Right,
stuff.
right. That's what I meant.
And I'm not saying if you are a girl gamer and
you don't like it, that's fine. I have a problem with that.
You get offended by the unnecessary crotch shots, and I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean I feel like that's a fair complaint. I think that's the one thing I wanted. I think that wasn't really represented when we were talking because we were bullshitting.
Yeah,
is that like I can understand the offense to the gratuitous panty shots and that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't. It shouldn't happen. Look, if it's a part of the girl's character, like she's supposed to be, the way she is sexy.
Like
as
Bayonetta.
Yeah, with Bayonetta it makes sense. But like if you got like Hitomi from Dead or Alive, who's like this innocent ass girl, but you gave her these massive jiggle physics, and she in the camera, it's all in her ass. It's like, okay, that's a fair argument that you have a problem with that because it doesn't really make sense for the innocent girl girder to have the camera in her fucking chest all the time. I get it.
You picked kind of the wrong game for the comparison.
I know,
I know what you mean.
I was going for the character, and that character was stuck out of my mind.
Let me throw a little gasoline on this fire.
Oh, no.
Oh god.
Piece of shit. You piece of shit.
There are real women in the real world that have no problem showing what they got, and then there's girls in the real world that absolutely never show it, you know. So it's like Terrell's main point, like, so what's wrong? I'm saying
why can't you have both?
If one character, let's say they have a character that likes to flaunt it, then have another character that doesn't, you know. That I think if they had fair representation like that in games, I don't think there'd be as much outcry. But
that was my point when I made my video on my channel about Mortal Kombat. That was the point I was leaning towards, where I was like, look, if you want to make a character who looks the way you have these remodels of classic MK characters looking, just make a new character. Don't why let Scarlet be Scarlet and then make a character who fits that new age demographic. So guess what? You have both. So no one should be mad.
And here's the thing, like, if you're gonna fight that battle, fine, but
come up with a better argument.
You're serving yourself fighting it, starting with video games. You got to start that. You got to start that with other women.
Exactly.
Because there are plenty of women on this website here who gratuitous all over the place.
Jessica
do it for
Negrini.
Money and views. So
she's
that's where you need to start. We'll change along with you changing. Like, we'll accept it. You know, like, okay, that's how you want to go. That's fine. At the end of the day, I'm a dude. I'm going to look, at women that look good. But if that's how women are portraying themselves everywhere, I mean, you there's no argument against. You can't fight it. You can't battle. But I'm just saying, video games is not the place to start that battle.
And also, Mortal Kombat is not the game to start with.
Because that didn't even have that. Wasn't even that much of an offender anyway.
Because I mean, the reality, I mean, we don't listen. It's not like we don't mind playing games for girls who are fully clothed or some shit. Like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Of course not.
Horizon Zero Dawn is a great fucking game. And I'm not sitting there worrying about ass shots. Now, Juice might, because Juice does that thing with Tomb Raider all the time, where he's like, yeah, they got some upgrades on the cheeks from the last game to this game. He'll do that kind of shit. But like, what?
There's outfits that completely cover.
Yeah, like, it's a fair representation. If you want to look sexy with Lara Croft, you can look sexy.
Actually, they don't.
I thought it was stupid when he was like, "We're not going to."
Here's the thing, too.
We're not going to add outfits because I think this is fine.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, if you're a pig, you are a pig. Doesn't matter if they're going to put that kind of stuff in video games or not. Yeah, you're still going to have pigs. I mean, they're still going to exist.
That's what modding's for.
Hey, look, I'm all for nudity,
play these types of games. That stuff doesn't change me. That stuff doesn't change me who I am as a person. When you have that kind of stuff in video games, I just play the damn game, and it doesn't change who I am. Now, if it does, that dude has way more problems than what a developer is putting in their game. That's some personal problems that this whatever individual has with themselves.
Yeah, and let me just say too that like I played through Hellblade, and that character there's absolutely no effort to make a sexy character, you know. Like it didn't matter to me one bit. Didn't affect me playing the game or anything. Probably would have been really inappropriate if she had been in some short shorts or short skirt, you know, like in that setting. That would have been probably
weird,
pretty out of place. Right. And I could see someone complaining about that, but it doesn't affect my enjoyment. And like Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't even think there's an option. There's not even an option for a sexy outfit in Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's fine. But the main complaint is, and the developer said, well, it doesn't make sense for a girl to be fighting in a bikini. And I'm pretty sure you guys, one of you said it last week. Why are these dudes fighting with no shirt, no protection on? There's shirtless dudes everywhere.
Also, just to add another point to that, what about women who fight in MMA? Are they fighting in like clothes outfits and shit?
Yeah, so that argument actually holds no
or
water.
women's tennis. Should it be running around in them little outfits?
People think that like women are always clothed in everything they do.
Know. So that reason that guy gave is absolute holds no water.
Also, what does it do with the random breast reduction all the girls got? The fuck does that have to do with anything?
Oh, that's weird.
That's just being.
I always feel with this is that there's a lot of like hypocrisy in general. A lot of women like they complain about their shit and for reason and shit, you know. But let's not forget the amount of chicks that played with Link nude in Breath of the Wild. I mean, come on, like it's everywhere.
I play all the time with Link nude.
But here's the thing.
No, Robert.
Robert has problems. That's fine.
No. Let me bring that back, because women, I mean, they have a right to complain, because if you're talking about like representation as far as guys being scantily clad and women being scantily clad, that's just like 90 to 10. You know, it's like 80 to 20 maybe. So women have a right to complain about that. If you want to even it up, yeah, that's great. But we don't it's not even right now. So I can understand them complaining about certain things like that. And not everybody who complains is a hypocrite. You know, like some women who complain about these things don't do these things, don't dress that way, don't act that way in real life too. So you can't conflate them. I see that happening a lot.
Yeah,
like,
but you're right though. It's got to start before video games.
The video games is not the place to start.
And YouTube, like you said, like I mentioned, Jessica Negrini, like I watched her channel I couldn't even make 5 minutes. And because my buddy's like, oh man, she's a girl gamer. She's really attractive. 5 minutes in, I'm like, she's like, oh, my boobs, and she's jiggling her boobs with her hands, and I'm like, you fake ass.
Who do you think is being more exploited in that situation? The girl with her chest hanging all out, or the dudes that's thirsty all over the
dudes that are
throwing the
buying her
and buying her all kind? That's the exploitation happening in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
don't act like it doesn't go both ways. Like,
right. I just wanted to put
I hope this wasn't offensive to anybody.
Cap off the thing.
I'm not trying to explain these things a little better.
I want people to understand, at least from my perspective. Because I think people thought, oh, well, you're just mad because she doesn't have a bikini outfit. Here's my thing.
Partly true.
I mean, listen, well, that's partly true because they're in the other games. You took them out. That's part of the reason why it's true. But the point I was going to make is that I am fine with them redesigning outfits for the characters. That's not an issue for me. I think people thought that I had an issue with that because I was complaining about the outfits, but I'm like, no, you can redesign the outfits. Hell, Mortal Kombat tends to redesign their outfits almost every game they come out with.
Yeah, that's true.
Fine. I just don't want it. But to me, when you start changing facial structure and body shape, and to the point where they look like I said with Scarlet, where she looked literally like a completely different character, my thought process is, well, you obviously wanted to make a new character. Just make a new character. Don't do this thing where you want to change the main character because you have an agenda. If you want a character to be your agenda, put that bitch in as her own character and let her stand on her own 2 feet. Don't sit there and try to use Scarlett's name as a fucking platform to stand on.
It'd be like if Bayonetta 3 came out and she was just like completely a different character and for no reason.
Yeah, like you.
Look what they did to Lara Croft.
They
totally desexualized her, and
Lara Croft is a weird situation because at least I think the justification because I think these are technically prequel games anyway.
Yeah, I was just messing around.
I would say I feel like Lara isn't in the same case, although I do know people who were mad.
They desexualized her in the outfit regard, but she's still built the same way, you know.
And this is an earlier Lara Croft. This isn't the sexual appeal, mid-30s Lara Croft. You know that
because it's a prequel.
In the other games,
I'm not as like annoyed with it because it wasn't that big of a deal. Because it was like, okay, this is a younger Lara Croft. She's getting her shit together. Now, if you literally did a reboot of Lara Croft and she literally looked like this, and you said, "Oh yeah, this is Lara Croft. This is like from the last game," you're like, No, it's not.
I don't know. I think they represented her pretty well in the new game. They finally got the blue colors, shirt, and I mean, yeah, she looks different just because of the leap in visuals since the old game.
Right. I mean, if you did it the other way, she'd look like a porn star or something. Like if they just updated.
But she's still a very attractive character all the way around.
Yeah, of course. I'm not. You don't have to look like a porn star to be attractive. Mm-hmm. Like that's just silly.
But porn stars are attractive. I mean, I don't want to get.
Really?
I mean,
disagree on that one.
Until you see him without makeup on up close in an interview, and you're like, "Whoa, who's that?"
Look at those lip injections without lipstick on them.
But yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to get all in with that, but I thought we could better say what we meant.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify it. That's for sure. Like.
But we are just a bunch of dudes, so of course we only got one viewpoint.
Yeah, I didn't mean.
Well, it's not just that. We don't take ourselves that serious. We're just fucking around always, and people just get offended by everything, though. And we're none of us really are like that, so we just like messing around.
Well, it's okay. I mean, she just didn't it was a misunderstanding. It's okay. I'm not mad about anybody getting offended by. Like I get it. It's like not. I just don't want it to be. I didn't want to be mischaracterized. Like, and we were just goofing around.
I mean, T definitely.
I'm a huge like.
You side with women a lot. Let's just put
big
that
time. Exactly. I talked my wife into going to the women's march. Like I am a feminist.
Mm-hmm.
Through and through. So don't trust me. I'm on your side.
All right. So any gaming discussion? Other gaming discussions? Anybody?
Weren't we going to talk about the Labo VR thing, or did you guys?
Oh, Labo VR. Yeah, because last week, or when they first announced it, if you watch my Juice Opinions, which not a lot of people did, but go check it out. I watched I thought it was just like a TV ad. It was like a 7-minute video. I never had watched it, so I watched that and gave my live reaction during it, and there was a lot more to it than I had any idea. So I kind of walked away impressed with what was on display, and then finding out like the base version's like $40. And I thought some of the games look like a clever use of VR. I mean, it's hard to, just like any VR, I feel like it's not going to be fun after a couple play sessions. The wow factor is going to go away, and then you're never going to play it again. But so I didn't even watch that. I don't know if you guys had watched that.
There's
original.
Similar stuff to that on like PSVR and whatnot, but you don't have a $300,
it was $400
starting cost, or $400. It was $400, but I think it's
$300 now.
They cut it down to like $300 now. I think you can get it for. So you don't have that. It's not it's an impulse thing. It's just like, do I have $40? Do I want to play these little games for a little while instead of having to, pay $300 plus, I think you have to have the camera and stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
For VR on on PlayStation 4, right? You got to have the camera.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more buy-in.
Yeah, I think it might comes with it. It comes with it, but the controllers are $100 still, I believe.
Oh yeah, and then you have.
So I'm just curious because I'm not into VR, and I literally couldn't care less. But I mean, from what I understand, they're just holding the Switch like really close to the face. Is it really like VR kind of shit? Does it do anything? Like,
well, none of us really know.
It's kind of weird that shit, because it's like, I mean, if you try holding your Switch up to your face, right, and try actually pressing the button, like it's just so uncomfortable. Like, it's so weird. Like,
I mean, it sounds like cancer waiting to happen.
Well, once I saw, I've done VR with a Samsung Galaxy, and yeah, that had a strap that held it in place. But it's amazing how just having that with those lenses and that close to your face, how it literally puts you in the environment.
It makes you feel like you're in there. Yeah,
it's fucking, that part of it is always impressed the hell out of me. So the games they showed, like I said, look more fun than I was expecting. And I think when you have, it's not like you're just holding the Switch directly to your face with nothing else. You got the cardboard coming off that adds the leverage. I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be as much of an issue for the games that it comes with. But
well, here's
for playing.
You know what I thought when I saw that? And for you youngsters, y'all don't know nothing about this, but the ViewMaster, You don't know what Viewmaster back in the day.
Yeah.
You had to hold that bad boy to your face. There was no strap, and you put the little slides in or whatever, and you click every slide, and you get your 3D image and stuff, and it felt like you were in the movie or whatever. It has that kind of, I think, feel to it, and it's not for something that's 2-hour gameplay. It's a quick little burst of games to play. I think it's fine for that. Now Zelda, that's
we'll get into the Zelda stuff, but I just want to ask if anyone else that had seen the actual 7-minute video, what they thought of just the base thing before they announced the new games, because I didn't give it much credence because I hadn't watched it and I didn't give it enough I guess attention. I don't think we talked about it much before, so I don't know if Clocked or anybody has any thoughts on just the base VR.
Yeah, I watched it when it when it was first shown and stuff, and I was kind of always already done with Labo, not because of the premise and everything. I always thought every single one of them actually looked as good as the next one. I loved the island one, which I put in one of my videos, if you remember, about Woohoo Islands and stuff like that. And I loved how the VR stuff looked. It was just the price. The price of every single Labo kit put me off.
Right.
I can't afford to spend £60, $70, whatever, on a new Labo kit every single fucking time. And that's what put me off the most. But now that we know there's a cheaper version of this VR kit coming, and it comes with the blaster, and it comes with some software, and then you can also buy later on if you want, the extra kit for it's £16 or $20 to get the other Labo kits and stuff if you want to get those further down the road. So I think now that it's coming more in the modular parts, it might be a bit more enticing, and 35 quid isn't a bank breaker anymore. So
yeah, I might be willing to throw it down just to try it, but I'm going to customize mine. I'm going to put some foam around the edge and make a strap.
Yeah, because you start sweating into that cardboard, it's gonna get nasty.
Could be paper cut too. I mean, you're holding it to your face.
Or paper cuts, right? You could get scratched. But yeah,
that's the point of Labo.
I was super excited about Labo. You guys saw my video. I did a nice little video on it. I haven't bought it yet because I don't like the distribution model. It should be digital games, and then you sell me the kit. I shouldn't have to buy an $80 situation every time I want. Because I'm looking at all, I'm like, I like most of the Labo stuff, but it's like I can't spend, or I won't spend $80 every time. That's just not going to happen. There's no way. So this is so much better. Obviously, you already have what's coming with the software, with the games that are already out, like Mario and Zelda, and so that's already enticing. But then, the games I think they're perfect for what they're doing with the VR. I think they feel like more of games. So it's not just about the headset or building that little what was the little elephant thing or any of that stuff, but it's also about playing those games, which look fun, especially in VR.
Especially that one where you create 3D art using it. Almost looks like
that was crazy.
Puts out clay, in a spaghetti, the old Play-Doh thing where you squeeze it and comes out.
Well, they have that on a lot of the VR platforms. The VR Paint thing. That's Google has their own that's their first app they did or whatever. It was this Paint app.
That's what I'm saying.
It's pretty cool.
VR already has that stuff, but the difference is the buy-in is nowhere near the same.
Because you already have the Joy-Cons and everything you need for the motion. So
you remember they were talking about Joy-Cons and how they were similar to the Vive controllers. Remember they were talking about that maybe a year ago. So it was VR will be perfect for Switch at some point, but they have to get more serious as far as outside of Labo.
Yeah,
and I want me to really get in.
I don't know how they expect you to play Zelda though without having some kind of strap built into the kit. That just everyone's going to have to come up with their own way to to hold it to their face. So
they're gonna like look in their basements and they're gonna get all like the stands from the old Virtual Boys. They still have to
yeah, I was thinking like, why wait for a third party? I could, maybe put something together myself. And
well, I do believe the VR kit, the actual VR goggles itself. I'm sure they got 2 ports on the side for you to be able to put some sort of strap in.
We got to have one go over and around. Like I was thinking of like not a welding helmet, but like a shielded face mask. Like they have a headband that you click on the back and it goes to the right size, and then you stop turning it when it's tight, and then it has a flip up mechanism. Somehow rigging that to work with
you
Labo.
got to get something. You got to make sure the distance is right too. The distance from
and this doesn't have
to the Switch.
Yeah, this doesn't have a. Most VR has a focus thing, so the focus is going to be how moving it further or closer to your face.
People are going to be making Samus Aran helmets, man. I'm telling you.
But I am curious to see what Breath of the Wild looks like. And is there a first person mode in Zelda where you're aiming? I can't remember. It's been so long since I
when you aim,
played Breath of the Wild.
When you look around, you can look around obviously in first person.
You in your goggles stuff.
Because that would be that'd be interesting. Like when you pull up the Sheikah slate to like pin stuff. If it was head tracking, and you did that.
You know how they could sell millions of the Labo shit, the VR Labo shit, and it will sell like fucking gangbusters and shit if they make like Pokemon Snap for it.
Yeah, because that camera in the underwater
with the camera thing, it is made for that. And even if for Zelda and Mario, it won't run too well. Even me now, when I'm starting to think about it, I don't like all this VR shit, but I'm thinking, damn, if Animal Crossing they would have this, like I'm like, ooh, maybe I would try that shit.
Well,
but like, do Pokemon Snap and shit, and it will sell like fucking like 10 million in like a week.
Well,
they didn't do it for the 3DS, which I thought would be a smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's time to maybe bring back the Virtual Boy games, yo. Put them in, son. Let's go.
What, all 5 of them, or?
Yeah, it's like, well, I think
like
it's like 15. I think it's like 15 or so. But
might as well
bring them out, put them out, man.
That's gonna help Labo sell like 5 extra copies. You do that.
I tell you one game I really want to be for
games
Nintendo.
There,
it's Pikmin. I want to be able to go down into the forest on ground level, as in like a Pikmin game in VR, and look around and move around. That'd be fucking incredible.
I heard somebody mention this, and it's like, yes, that sounds like a great idea. What about Link's Awakening VR? Because that thing already looks like a diorama.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, how crazy would that look in VR?
But the question is going to be and I don't know. I'm sure because of the way the camera's fixed, I'm guessing, is the world going to be like completely connected, or is where the camera is there's nothing because you're never going to move the camera around?
Yeah, well, in a game like that, I mean, you can't really do too much. I think you'll be able to move it somewhat, like games like Astrobot. Like, you're following your character, and you can kind of still look around a little bit.
It'd be like 3D World, where you couldn't.
Right.
You could move it a little bit to help you see, but yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Even though it's gonna be really
Captain Toad,
it's gonna be Captain Toad, be perfect.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really low quality probably, but I just, to put myself in Hyrule and Breath of the Wild and just feel like to actually see like you're there.
Yeah.
That's worth the $40. That's worth the $40.
It's the intrigue of all these Nintendo IPs we've always wanted that would work in VR in some respects. It's the intrigue that's got us right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to play the whole game that way.
No.
But the intrigue is there. So
yeah,
they did it properly. Fuck me.
And not to be like the Nintendo fanboy and shit, but when you look at because I just finished watching it, the 7-minute Joy-Con thing that you said, and I remember what the fucking PlayStation VR thing, the thing here, they're all like games that almost like make you want to play it, compared to what PlayStation showed in their thing. It's like, I don't understand when something like PlayStation, who has been in VR for now a while and dedicated to it, and Nintendo just drops this shit, how these games seem like more fledged games. Like compare the fucking Iron Man bullshit to what you're seeing here. Like it's almost no comparison to that.
First party, these is like first party games we're talking about here. Obviously, you also had the little rinky dink Labo stuff, but they just came out and just here's Mario and Zelda. Boom.
Yeah. What about Mario Tennis in fucking VR? Like
right.
That would add a whole new.
How about Mario Kart?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I want to see Mario
Kart. Mario Kart, if you can get first person Mario Kart, oof.
Yeah.
Well, you have a Mario Kart VR though. You just need to port that over then.
Well, yeah, they have it in Japan.
I mean, I hate to, because I've always shit on VR. I hate to sound excited, but again, we're talking about a $40 investment to get into this.
I've never been excited about VR. But the main reason was the startup price. It's like, and I got a video like maybe a year and 5 months ago, how Nintendo Switch would be a perfect VR solution because it's all in the box. Mm-hmm. It's all there. All you need is the little the focus goggles, and that's it. Like that's why I thought it was a good idea even then. So it's not like I'm switching. At some point I'm gonna get like a PlayStation VR because I think there is some cool stuff over there. But it's not an impulse buy. You know what I'm saying?
And I wonder if Terrell would actually join this conversation if they had Xenoblade Chronicles 2 VR announced.
And it was all like it was a dating thing.
It mean a lot to me personally. It mean a lot to me personally.
So if you couldn't like walk around your Blade in VR,
I wouldn't do it.
There already is a game
you would
play in VR.
To be fair, I can zoom the camera in on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to be like a first-person mode if I care.
Just look really close.
Yep.
This is
You'd do it. I'd do it.
I mean, listen, if you want to lay
the perfect conversation to have after what we just talked about.
I mean, I want to check out Rex in VR, man.
No, you don't. Lying piece of shit.
But yeah,
he wants an Elma model in Xenoblade Chronicles, so he wants to check that Elma out.
The one thing that concerns me though is some of those, like the Switch gets pretty warm and just playing it in handheld mode. Now it's wrapped completely in cardboard except for the top vent. They have to have tested it, but that seems like that would kick that fan on constantly.
Flames.
Yeah, that shit would run warm. You would think. Some of those level kits, it's like layers of cardboard wrapped around it. But the camera thing actually, like the Endless Ocean little camera, that was a cool. That looks like a really cool level kit.
Oh man, Endless Ocean VR.
That needs to be Pokemon Snap all day. Pokemon Snap.
I mean, just fuck, man. I love taking screenshots in games, and the problem is, again, we didn't really address it. Is the quality is probably going to be. Like those videos they play, I mean, it looks like Wii level visuals for the actual kit.
I was going to say.
But Breath of the Wild, I don't know how bad or good it's going to look. I'm guessing it's going to look not great because the Samsung Galaxy VR I did, but that doesn't have a processor made for games. It was like the Galaxy 8, the S8 or whatever, and that has a really nice screen, but the VR looked really low. It looked like 360p was how I describe it, like a YouTube video when you put it low. That's kind of how it looked like. So
the difference is like because Game Explain, they went hands-on with it, and what they were saying was that you would expect because the 720p screen, blah 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 blah, but the games were built around that factor. Mm-hmm. And he was saying like the textures were all that stuff. Like you said, they were really low poly, but they're really clean. And so they work for the games that were made for the VR. They look pretty good. And he was saying that because they didn't do Zelda and Mario, those games are probably going to be a little bit different because obviously they weren't built with that in mind. So, but I think if games were built with that in mind, they'll still look pretty decent. They'll still look pretty good.
Then like now with the camera and shit, I was just thinking like now's the perfect time to like port a game that a lot of you guys wanted to port for a while because you never had physical. It's like now you should port over like
Fatal
Project
Frame.
05. Yeah, exactly. Fatal Frame,
because you could use the camera, have a camera Labo kit.
I mean, the game is built for the camera, like Pokemon Snap. Like there's so many like possibilities with the camera thing.
I never play that game in VR. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, because there's some terrifying shit. But the thing that would kind of ruin that is not having the second screen, so you'd have to walk around in the VR and then also
that's why I said
use the
it has to
camera.
be built for it.
Yeah, if you had two switches and you can link them, you have the TV, then you pull the camera up. That would be they'd never do it, but that would be awesome.
Well, they ported Zombie U to other consoles, so it's totally worth it.
So, and that would be cool. So, I mean, again, I'm not just turning completely around on VR because of the price point. Who cares if it's a fun for an hour with the kit you get, and I play Zelda 30 minutes in VR and I'm done for $40. I mean, I can't say it's wouldn't be worth it. If
you don't want to do that for $400.
No, fuck no. Or 600 or 800, whatever the vibe was. Robert.
Ooh. Well,
Expo.
The thing about Odyssey, you mentioned specific VR games that would look good enough on the Switch VR. I mean, the difference with Odyssey and Breath of the Wild is that they are creating 3 specific levels. So they might have already made those adjustments just for these certain levels and these certain little modes that you do, even though they're on stages we've been on.
Yeah, Zelda is the wild card.
I feel like they are like little separate experiences, not part of the main game or anything. So I think Mario might look great, and Zelda, I think it's going to look.
Might look like what's that game, Evolved?
But it's got to run 2 images. But then when you watch the video, they're actually smaller circles on the screen, so it's not full screen. It's not doing 2 full screen images. It's cutting each left and right eye are smaller circles that it's tied to. So that's gonna
be some Nintendo magic there somewhere. There's got to be. I just, like I said, I can't imagine them just releasing it, knowing that it's going to look absolutely horrendous. Why would they do it?
They released it to Virtual Boy, son.
And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in portable mode looks pretty bad, and they so we'll see. When does that come out? The
25th.
Same same week as Mortal Kombat, I think.
Was it the 18th of April?
I'm thinking of yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of when the Zelda and Mario stuff was implemented. Yeah. So yeah, it's VR for Labo is 18th. That's right.
And this thing has a chance of actually having interest and maybe selling. You might be a little bit harder to find this version. Maybe. I don't know. So I'm looking at the $40 version. Just comes with the blaster. I'd rather have just the camera myself.
I'm gonna get the $80 version. Because I've been wanting to get in the Labo, and this is a good thing. This is a good step into it because I think I'll have more fun with this, and I'll be able to use it beyond this. Unlike the other Labo kits,
because they could keep adding.
Confined.
They could keep adding games that it supports.
Right.
So that's I'm trying to find the kit breakdown. I'm going to Best Buy right now because I know the $40 one comes with the glass goggles and the blaster, and then all they show is that, and then they show the full set. So they don't. I'm guessing the separate ones will come later.
Yeah,
like the if you buy the $40.
There's 2 separate ones. One comes with the elephant one comes with the bird and the wings or something like that. And then the other one comes with the elephant and what else is there? And a camera, is it? Yeah, elephant and a camera.
In the US, all I'm seeing is the blaster and then the full kit. They don't have anything else listed. Maybe on Nintendo's website.
I saw them on Amazon UK.
Maybe that's in the UK. Because I don't see it listed here.
Yeah, I don't like. Again, this distribution is confusing. How they distribute this.
Right. Yeah. So for £35, which would be the $40 one, you get the blaster and the goggles, and then the variety kits, the expansion set, you get the camera and the elephant. That's £17, so that'd be about $20. And then you get the bird plus the wind, which is the pedal one. that's £17, which is about $21 as well. So
Nobody's
you can
gonna
get
buy
these.
that
I'll put.
That's curious because the own Nintendo website I'm looking at doesn't even show just shows the two that I'm talking about. That's crazy. So maybe the US is getting a little bit different representation. But
why are they doing this? It's confusing. You're confusing the market.
But yeah, then I'd have to consider: do I want to spend the 80, or do I want to just get the 40 and test it out? But it's curious, the Mario stuff. They're not showing like first person stuff. It's just it's almost like playing 3D Land, where the depth is going to help you with some of the stuff, maybe like the music and some of the platforming. Looks like the depth perception will help you, because it's not like a first person experience or anything.
Yeah.
So
I'm only choosing that because the kids. I'm definitely gonna do more.
I'll probably listen to some reviews and stuff before I make which version I'm gonna get. But yeah, it's definitely a little more intriguing. I wasn't giving it any attention at all, and now I'm probably gonna get it. So it's the difference of just saying Zelda and Mario. That's the difference.
Yes, the variety kit comes with a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the other thing, just real quick, just remind people on the 11th, Hellblade. We still haven't really seen any direct feed or anything. They showed it like last week, and then all of a sudden it's coming out soon. I think we talked about it last week. It's 18 gigabyte download. There's no physical, which honestly, one of the rare times if there was a physical, I'd probably support it, because all I have is a digital right now on Steam. And if they had a physical version, I might be tempted to.
Is there a physical version anywhere?
I believe the PS4, Xbox One had physical.
Yeah, those are physical, right? Oh.
I believe so. I wouldn't. I'm not going to sit there and say I know for sure. Let me look. But at 18 gigs, that means it wouldn't fit on a card anyway. So it'd be one of those.
Well, it wouldn't fit on the cart that they wanted to fit on.
Mm-hmm.
But it will still fit on the cart.
Yeah, it's $30 physical. PS4, Xbox One have physical versions, so which I'm sure the whole game's on the disc for those. But yeah, it's. I'm glad that it's bigger, because this is going to be a game where I can kind of look at it and say, hey, they didn't really compress this down ridiculous amount, so I want to see if that affects any of the quality of the port, because I kind of have a feeling some of the ports are suffering from compression of trying to get them super small file sizes. So we'll see on this one, but yeah, I'm still tempted just because I really do like the game. And I'm tempted to just support it, but if it was physical, I would do it for sure. And digitally, I don't think I need two digital versions of the same game. That just kind of feels weird. So, but anybody planning on picking it up, even though it is digital only on the Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Robert. I mean, it's a short game. It's only 7-8 hours.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I think it's more along it feels more like it kind of feels like a Sony kind of gameplay wise, like a Sony first party game. So, and I know Robert
cinematic experience.
Yeah,
Robert does.
He usually finishes those Sony games. So,
damn,
you a pony, Robert. You a pony.
But like I said, I don't want to overhype. It's definitely not. If someone's like, yeah, it's not a game for me. I could see where I wasn't even expecting to like it as much. So, I would recommend it, but definitely watch some reviews or something. Judge for yourself, because I know not everybody enjoyed it. And I think T and Clocked It know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's been on my wish list for quite some time, and I got excited for the Switch version because I thought it was going to be a cart, but now that's not going to be a cart. Pass.
Yeah, that does suck. I do think out of everybody, T probably like it the most, because I know you're not.
I like my walking sims.
Yeah, you're not so opposed to the walking simulators, and but it's a little more involved than it's not that cinematic either in the beginning. There's not a whole. I'm like, how did she win best performance like there's no talking really. Like she hardly said anything for the first couple hours, but by the end of I'd say the last 2 hours, she earned her award for sure.
Well, I mean,
wasn't
I think
it
that kind of
also the
stuff
motion
is
cap?
Yeah, motion cap.
I think that stuff is like in general for everything, the movement, the acting in general, you know.
Yeah, but she
I think,
definitely,
and I like it actually that she got that, because I feel like actors in suits, you know, shit like Andy Serkis and like Doug Jones and that kind of shit. I think they're like criminally rewarded at shows and shit. So I like it actually that she won.
Andy Serkis should have won an Academy Award for acting.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I think people are a little wary about that, especially the Academy is worried about that, because this is like you're opening up a can of worms if you start giving out, you know, digital performance awards. It has to be a separate thing. It can't be. I feel like it can't be Best Actor goes to Andy Serkis as Caesar, because.
I think he should, but
I think
at the very least there should be a category.
Doing that, you open up.
Steven Spielberg won't like it, but I'm sorry, he put just good of acting performances.
But yeah, but that's why I feel it should fall under acting, for example, because it's not just like the motion caps thing. Even like I said, like people in like suits and everything, like Dirk Jones and that kind of thing. Like I just think it should just count as acting.
Yeah.
But at the very least, there should be a category.
Yeah, that's like giving Avatar best cinematography.
It's like would you Avatar was kind of trash though.
But the cinematography was nice, but it was a lot digital shit.
You know, sorry, would you give back that best actor to Benedict Cumberbatch for playing as Smaug? Even though you never see him in there, you just hear his voice.
Right. I mean, that's you're opening up that can of worms.
He's in the movie for like 10 minutes, so
but that's the thing.
That's not the point. The point
is the thing. He wouldn't win it, but I feel he should be allowed to be nominated, for example. But I feel like actually, because like you guys are talking like Andy Serkis, for example, as like Caesar and shit, you know, and Gollum, like those are like that's like him, you know.
Caesar is a main character.
If you see him like move,
it's him, but it's still also 10,000. Designers in a computer lab as well. It's not just
his
him.
Voice is also what you'd be judging. His
okay, well then give away the best voice award. You can't give him acting because there's also engineers involved with
because all the facial expressions can be tweaked. But that's why there's got to be a best like voice actor. I think that at the very least for animated movies, I don't know why there isn't. Honestly, now that we're out of the blue, come up with that topic. Why isn't there a best?
There should be. I agree.
Voice actor Academy Award. You know, because there's a lot of good performances. But anyway, Hellblade. In the beginning, you're hearing all these voices from other people. I'm like, man, she hasn't said a word other than, you know, she tells the voices to shut up a couple times. You know, like I'm like, how did she win an award? She really. There definitely some moments where she earned that award, but so I'm just really curious to see how that game ends up, the port and everything, because the studio hasn't got the best track record in my opinion. That they did Dark Souls, I believe, in LA Noire, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the same studio that ported Hellblade, and both those games were 360, last gen games. So. We'll see what they can do, but so definitely worth looking into if you're a Switch owner. You don't have the other systems. This might be a game, something completely different, unlike anything on the Switch. So, and it's only $30 for, priced accordingly. And you got to give them props for realizing they didn't have a $60 game there, and they never even tried. They started at $30, and unlike like No Man's Sky, which was $60, I believe. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and
now it's finally worth it.
Yeah. So we'll see when reviews or something, when they're allowed to even. I don't know when anyone's going to have that game. It might be Thursday before we see any footage, but that and Mortal Kombat 11, I'm really curious to see how they turn out on the Switch. So, well, yeah, let's do our final thoughts. Get the hell out of here, and who do we want to start with? We start with Terrell, since he hasn't said anything in the last hour.
No, last hour. Last hour. Isn't that kind of an exaggeration, sir?
Half hour.
Yeah, it's debatable. Like 15 minutes, or if that. I don't think there's really much to say. I've good podcast, great people, good work, everybody. Appreciate it. Wish Juice would pay us, but that might be asking too much. You ain't got no money.
You got your link, man. Be happy you got your link already.
I know it took us how many years?
I forgot to put it in this week, but I'll do that right now.
Wow.
You can put it in.
Wow, Retro, you set this man up, didn't you? You planned that.
You can default it and put it in, and it just does it automatically.
Listen. Granddaddy Juice.
There's a way to do that.
Is new to this newfangled YouTube, man.
When I do my normal live streams that I set up, or my Juice Opinions live streams, it saves. But for the way I set these up, it doesn't autofill anything. It's completely from start every time.
Oh, that's
shake my head, yo.
Okay.
But you don't do them.
I appreciate the
Hangouts, right?
Say what?
You're talking about T's talking about the ones he doesn't do through Hangouts. You do a live stream.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, that one I do, it does save. But when you do it through Hangouts, the way I have to set it up, you start from scratch every time.
Gotcha.
So Robert, you didn't really chime in with the whole Caesar Academy Award because I know you're a big fan of.
I love that. Well, yeah, I mean,
he agreed with me.
You cried because of Caesar's performance, probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, God, I love those. That trilogy is fucking amazing, and War of the Planet Apes was my favorite movie of that year, and I love that fucking movie. And his performance is insane, and that shit made me cry every time I watch it at the end. I love it. And that motherfucker should have been nominated and win. And
Agreed.
that score should have been nominated. It blows my mind. I love that score.
Fucking Aquaman didn't get nominated for visual effects. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Black Panther did.
Yeah.
Marvel
terrible,
fan bitches.
Terrible visual effects in that movie. But anyway, Robert, continue.
Is this my final thoughts? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow, I just saw someone said War for the Planet Apes.
I didn't think it was very good either. I was pretty uninterested.
I fucking love that.
I love that movie.
It's so good. Oh God, I love it. And you should check out my new song, my remix of Sugimoto.
Pretty good.
Which is really fucking good.
It's good shit, man. Good shit.
Appreciate it.
Once you get going, once it gets going, I'm like, dang.
Appreciate it.
I should link Trevor's channel too. I should add that.
Yeah, you can even take my YouTube channel, just have Trevor. I did actually put a new video, and it's of my magazine I would write when I was 10.
That was funny.
It's pretty funny. So
please explain. You didn't like Avatar when you were 10 years old? My mind would have been blown.
Yeah, but the thing is, I saw it in theater, and I know it was very long, and probably during that day, I fell asleep. Watching that movie when I was 10. It just, maybe I went to a late showing. I don't know exactly why I fell asleep.
Oh, and I want to say real quick that your handwriting at 10 is better than my handwriting right now. That's just pretty damn good. It was really nice.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I've always kind of and I'm a lefty, which is interesting because a lot of people think that lefties are horrible handwriters, but I think I have a pretty decent handwriting.
Oh no, it was good.
And that just goes to show that one day we grow out of being 10 years old.
One day.
and we one day will become, add that extra zero, will be 100 and die. So have a good night, and hopefully we're not 100 by tomorrow.
Funny story is I had to write a book, story for 10th grade English. And the lack of imagination when I look at the character names I used, so it was all like G.I. Joe characters and people I knew in real life. I couldn't come up with one original character name. It's funny, but I did have a couple that I thought I laughed rereading them because they weren't terrible, but obviously I was trying to rush through and just get done and do the least, not the least amount, but as much as I needed to do, a little bit more. I didn't go all out with it, but I found one of those a couple months ago when I was looking through stuff. I was like, oh, here's these damn stories I wrote, and maybe I'll share those one day. But so let's go to Retro Death. Final thoughts.
Like I don't know, not much to say, man. It's like I did some rearranging of my game shelves today because, man, the sun it was like raping some of my games, man. So I had to like readjust some of my game shelves and shit. So people, trust me, keep your games out of the sun and go listen to Trevor's song, I guess, because it really is fucking good. And I don't like rap, and I like that shit. I'll keep it at that.
That's it.
Yeah, I'll keep it at that.
Huh?
Go ahead, T.
Good podcast. Bye. Looking forward. Oh yeah, it turns out that the Labo is actually the 12th.
Okay,
so
Friday.
That's next week. Yeah.
This Friday.
Or this week. What I'm saying, next week. Yeah, that's this Friday. So, yeah. So look forward to that. I guess. I don't think I'm gonna get it this week. Maybe next week. But yeah, good podcast as always. I'm glad we clarified some things. Don't be mad, please. We love everybody, and make sure you go check out my last video. Go check out my last video, man. Go check out my last video, because those videos that take me time, and you better be watching them.
Hey, wait a minute! Check out my skit. I don't get to do no stuff.
I haven't seen your skit yet.
I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I'm gonna check out your skit as soon as we get out.
You talking about your record video or the other? Was there?
No.
There's another one. There's another one.
My Sony.
He's gone back to the quality style, yo. I'm so fucking excited.
I listened to that on my way to work, and
I'm so excited. I'm so excited, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't follow any Sony fans on any format, so I don't know what they've been saying.
Well, I'm just saying what they have not been saying.
Yeah.
That's what the video's about. What they haven't been saying.
But I definitely listen to Xbox fanboys, and they're not saying anything. So I'm sure they were when Nintendo wasn't there, though.
Oh yeah.
But they ain't said shit about Sony.
You're scared. You're scared.
All right, clocked it. Finish this off.
Yeah, I watched
Finish this off.
skit, and I am not part of that world. That Weibo stuff. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I would say out of our group, I think Retro might be the one who might get the joke.
I love that shit.
I tell you what, though, your editing was spot on. I still enjoyed it. It was good.
Better than his Xbox video, I hope.
Man, what the fuck? What the fuck was that?
Why you gotta do it like that?
I didn't even get it. So.
It's a part of a series. All right. I have a bunch of footage I gotta record. The second part.
It felt incomplete. It's
a part one. It is a part one. That's why I call it the beginning of the fall of Xbox.
Damn, he just
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, clock it. Continue.
God. Damn.
I don't have much to say. Just to finish off, Bethesda, they're trash. Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2, Tidus and Yuna are like the worst characters ever in video game fucking history, in RPG history. What kind of shit is that? Fucking trash. Those games have always been whacked. That was the downfall of Final Fantasy. And yeah, that's it. I'm done, man. It was a good podcast. It's nice to see some some people clarifying themselves, because like we're all saying, it's when you're live on these podcasts and you're joking and you're talking, and if you're not with it, some things can certainly sound out of place. And I know we're all boys, but we're all down to earth people, and we're not gonna purposefully abuse anyone unless they really, really deserve it, and women don't really, really deserve it. So, yeah, no, good podcast, and
final words ever, man.
Yeah, Bethesda, they're terrible. I concur. Too bad. It's unfortunate that they have id Software, a great development studio under them, but at least it doesn't hamper them from making quality games like Doom. And Doom Eternal looks pretty awesome. So
he didn't say Wolfenstein.
Well, they don't. It doesn't do Wolfenstein.
Oh, they don't?
No. I forget the name.
Done it before?
They might have did it back in the day.
Before. Yeah, maybe.
No, but if you look there, the development studio's got a name. I just forget what it is. But yeah, I love women. I don't want that to
the fuck happen.
Anyone to not.
Did someone call you gay?
Especially when they're scantily clad. But I also appreciate them when they're fully dressed. So you can be both. You can like both things. Like both. But yeah.
You're not helping, Terrell. You're not helping.
check out some Hellblade reviews and footage. I say it's a good game. I liked it, and it's definitely better than Other M for sure. So I know.
Take it easy.
By a country mile.
Other M is trash. But so anyway, fun discussion, and next week we'll have potentially some Labo impressions VR. I mean, maybe from me, maybe somebody else too. I don't know. But yeah. So until then, we'll see you next week.